Hey guys, welcome back to my tutorials here on Fusion 360 for beginners. Today we're going to discuss how to 3D print a part. So we're going to actually model this up and walk you through the design process, and then I actually printed this part off the other day for a cap for something that's got internal threads. Um, but I modeled it up in Fusion and printed off, and it works very well. And I just want to kind of walk you guys through something like that and show you from start to finish. So the reason why I'm going to give this out to you guys is because when I first started in the hobby that I'm in now, which is 3D printing, 8 years ago, uh, I imagined myself getting a 3D printer and being able to make anything in the world. My imagination went wild. And once I got a 3D printer, I soon realized that there was a lot more work involved than just having a printer. It's not like a microwave. You can't just stick something in, heat it up, and it comes out. It has to first be designed. So you don't just walk up to a 3D printer and say, print me this, print me that. You must have a model, a file that goes inside of that 3D printer and converts those numbers and letters into movements and actions. So in order to do so, this is stuff that I wish I would have known in the very, very beginning. Didn't have anybody to help me. Nobody around me really knew anything about 3D printing yet. It was all just new, and I just fell in love with it. And so, uh, this is stuff I had to learn. So I want to put this out for you guys, so that way you have someone to kind of help you get started. There's tons and tons of stuff out there already, but I'm going to guide you through Fusion 360. It's the only software that I use for modeling parts for my 3D printer. Things that I print off and use around the house and stuff. I do it all through Fusion 360. This is how it's done. So right now we're sitting at the design workspace in Fusion 360, and so what we need first is something to send to the 3D printer, and so um, that's something today where I'm just going to remodel this thing that I have already printed and it works. So I'm needing this made, and so I need the file. So in order to make that file, we need to either go online. There's places like Thingiverse, GrabCAD that people have already made CAD files, tons of stuff, amazing stuff. I suggest you go there and visit them, download a few things if you have a 3D printer, and have fun. But if you're wanting to design things, Fusion is the way to go. And you can do so by, like we've done in the last several tutorials. I've got several tutorials. This, you can go to create a sketch. We're gonna look down at it, click on it, and let's sketch out a polygon circle 0.75. So we'll go whoops, 75, 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna extrude that up 1 inch, and then we're going to put a hole in the middle. So let's put a circle on top. So C for circle, click on the top face, pull it out, or like 0.5. Now let's go 0.75. Good enough. Um, let's extrude it down like minus point quarter in. Let's go ½ inch. Yep. All right. So we got us our little knobby. We're going to put some threads in it. So we can go to create, thread, touch this bore, I always click modeled and select your thread type, go 3/4 10, all kinds of stuff to choose from, hit OK. And now that we have something made here, that is a three-dimensional object, we can use Fusion to turn this into a 3D printable object. So if you got any questions about how I just done all this stuff, I have a few other tutorials out there that will walk you through it for beginners. Tutorials 1 and 2 will guide you through this process here. Everything that you need to know to get to this point. So if you haven't seen it and you don't know what you're doing, find those videos and watch them. Very important. So now that we have our nut here, let's go ahead and turn it into a file that we can 3D print. We go to Utilities, okay, and then there's this little 3D printer icon here, Make. You can actually click on it and then click on your part. Now it's going to make a format of STL binary that works in my 3D printer. My units of measurement are going to be millimeters, so it needs to convert it to millimeters, or my 3D printer will not read it. I have a Cheedy X-Max 3D printer, and it wants the file just like this, binary STL and millimeter. You can preview the mesh. Mesh is just triangles. The whole part's made in triangles. And your output. So here is where your 3D printing software should be on the computer that you're using right now. And if it is, you can output it right here. You just click to send the 3D printer utility, open up this folder here and find your file and click OK. It will bring you back here and it'll say custom. Once you do that, you can now hit OK, and it will send this file to your 3D printer. It's on its way right now. So it's loading up. We're going to have plenty of room to print this little guy. Okay, here we go. So this grid is my entire build volume. My printer can print something that large. This is my containment. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is make sure that my print is on the bottom of the floor. It is. It's sitting on the floor. So I can move this object in any direction, left, right, even up and down. I'll go ahead and do it. I can scale it, rotate it, flip it over if I want to print it another way, like for whatever reason. I can lay it here. It'll print it just like so. That comes into importance when it comes to applications. So whatever you're going to use this part for, the way it's printed will be very important, because if you're turning something, if it's a handle and you're turning something and it was 3D printed in a certain way, the integrity of that part is going to be very weak. You're not going to have a good tensile strength to it. It's going to break very easy. So the way you print things is very important. You need to orientate them a certain way. So the way I would print this, since it has threads, it has a bore, if I print it like this, the 3D printer may not, the threads may sag because of the top. But being that it's radiused in there, it should not. But the best way that I see this is I would just click this, select face to align the build plate, and touch the bottom. So that dude is sitting flat. Okay. Now I'm going to, there's a lot of settings in here. I'm not going to go over them. The main thing is select your filament. I'm using PETG, and select your layer height. So the more fine it is, the higher the quality. The quicker it is, the rougher the resolution is, which are the layer lines. They'll be a lot grittier. So we're going to go ahead and prepare this. It's going to tell us down here in the bottom how long it's going to take. It's going to take 1 hour and 37 minutes to print this. It's going to use 16 grams of filament. So what it done was take that 3D model and converted it into layers. So coordinates X, Y, coordinates per layer. Then it moves up in Z and then goes back to another layer of XY coordinates. You can see it, these yellow lines and green and red, that's the travels, and you can see it looks like little strings, because that's exactly what it is. It's melted string. I'm using an FDM printer here. So I'm going to lift up my layers and see it growing. Now this is not a solid part, but I can make it solid by my infill density. I can change that to 100%. That's going to increase my print time a little longer. Now it's 4 hours, but it is a solid part, like completely solid. So great quality there, hard as a dang rock. For what I'm doing, it's way overkill. I actually only need 20% density. That is plenty strong. Okay. This was done in 20%, and I would have to take some kind of tool to crush it. It's that strong. So we have 1.5 hours print time, and she's ready to go. So all you got to do now is save to file. Well, you can plug in your USB drive at this time, rename your item. I just say knob, and when you plug in your USB drive, it'll say save to removable drive. You hit OK, and it pops up right here. It says eject. You pull it out, you stick it in your printer, you hit play. So that is the basic knowledge and quick run through of from start to finish on a programming and printing off a print such as this. Just a small little device, and Fusion360 has made it very, very easy for us to do. And I hope you guys support them. I do. Everyone that I talk to, I tell them about how great Fusion is. So if you guys are listening, you have my full support. Love to promote you guys any way I can. Everywhere I go, I tell everybody about the ease in your software. Thank you guys for all your hard work. I really appreciate it. You have helped so many people. So many people, and me being one of so many. And I'm just a happy person that's using your software, and very thankful for it. Thank you guys so much. Take care.